Yes, folks, how's everyone doing? Leeds United have and are just about to sign DCL Dominic Calvert-Lewin as a free agent, formerly of Everton, obviously, in the striking position. As expected, um, there's a lot of division with this one, and I agree with some of it. Let's get into the video. Let's talk about a lot of things to do with Calvert-Lewin, and yeah, let's go. My thoughts. One thing I will say, and it's on my screen over here, but I'll pop it up next to me. The injury stuff. Let's talk about the injury stuff before we talk about the player. One thing I will say, there's not recently, in the last few years, there's not many big concerns there that are not normal, like average normal footballer things, fatigue, fitness, just a little injury, a little ankle injury. That's fine. That happens. Quick knee injuries that keep you out a few weeks. That happens with every footballer. The consistent return of the hamstring injury is the problem for me. That's the one that's constantly plagued his seasons, right? He's had it a lot of times. Look, broken toe, it's a broken toe. What can you do about a broken toe? Broken stuff like that, whatever. Illness, whatever. But it's a recurring muscle injury, which is obviously a problem. And that is something that will be brought up and seen in the medical. And obviously, if you're watching this, I'm assuming he's past the medical, in which case they feel like it's fine. So that's the only injury concern for me. Not the general stuff that happens to footballers. It's the consistent hamstring injuries that he's had quite a lot of years, which has kept him out of football. But generally speaking, people acting like he pulls up every week with a different injury. Bone injuries are bone injuries. What can you do? So I just want to clarify that. The hamstring injury is a problem. That is one concern I have with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I was watching him in preparation for this. Obviously, I've seen the player, but I wanted to get a newly informed kind of view on it because I've not seen him in a while. I want to refresh my brain and just get a few things in and figure out what he would do for Leeds, why we've chosen to sign him. Yeah. Now it's clearly divisive because you look at the goals, which most people will do, and instantly you're looking at the goals thinking, right, that's not great. And I agree. That is my worry as a team who I don't think we have a huge goal threat. Bringing in another striker who is, in theory, recently not been a huge goal threat because people has played a lot of football. He's played a lot of football. I'll put it on the screen, like I said. In the last few years, he's played a lot of football, and the goal tally isn't great. And I remember, look, when we played against him, he's very hit and miss in front of goal. He can miss stinkers and he can score brilliant goals. He's that type of striker. So that is something that still needs to be addressed, in my opinion. I want a genuine, consistent goal scorer who's done it. The most important thing, he's done it in the last 3 or 4 years consistently. That's what I need. Now, of course, if you're going for people like a Muniz, for example, whose goal record isn't outstanding, it's not amazing, it's decent. That doesn't really fit that profile either. What I watched and what Calvert-Lewin does bring is he's a good player. And I mean that as a whole thing, not just as a poacher. We're not signing a poacher. Leeds are not going out for a poacher. If you're wanting a poacher, he's not the one. He's a good player. Even with all the injury issues he's had in the last kind of 6 or 7 years, watching him I just watched a game earlier, the Tottenham game where he scored and got an assist. Watching that game again from last year, he still is the same player he was under Carlo Ancelotti. He still looks the same. He still plays the same. It's just the confidence in front of goal, which isn't as high as it was. He's playing different football. He's got a different role. He's had a few years of injuries, not consistently playing. That means that instinct for goal is kind of lacking at the moment. But the actual player and what he does on the pitch has always been quality. That's why he's, a few years ago sorted by top clubs. That's why he played for England, because everything he did was the package. He was really good as a package striker. He brought a lot of things to the game. And one thing that seriously impressed me against Everton was, of course, his movement. But more specifically, one thing we don't have at all at this point, we do, but not to the extent, is runners who can go in behind early, particularly in the Premier League. Calvert-Lewin did that. Really, really, really good shoulder runner. Really manipulative movement. That is one thing he still has. His movement is outstanding. Like, seriously good. Really impressed with it. He's a massive outlet, which is what we'll need. He can hold the ball up. He can bring it down on his chest, win fouls. He's good in the air. Flick-ons with our quick runners. He brings a lot as a striker, as a player. He brings a lot to a team. He brings a lot. He's quick. His ball control's decent. Probably won't think something. Close ball control's really good. So from that sense, the striker, Calvert-Lewin, the actual overall player, not just the poacher, is a good profile for Leeds United. It is. But like I said, my concern is I still think, even though his injury record, away from the hamstring injury, which you can't really take away, but apart from that, isn't terrible. If we can control that and sort that out, it's pretty good. It's not too bad. Or even away from that, I still think we need a strike with a killer instinct in front of goal. I do. Because I just don't think we have enough in terms of that in the team. We have Joe Perreault, but how much is he going to play now with Calvert-Lewin coming in? He might start the season. I don't think he'll play most of the season. That's just my opinion, based on this striker. Because again, the caliber of the overall package you're getting with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And we're going to need goals to survive in this Premier League. But one thing I will say, and this is really important, Carlo Ancelotti got the best out of Calvert-Lewin for a few years, double figures in the Premier League. So he can do it. That's proof. The key thing for any striker, even for Joe Perreault, this will be the same thing for him. He needs this. It's service. Every striker needs it. I've seen people in pre-season, Mecha was quiet, but when he got the ball, he was good. He's quiet because he's not getting the ball. When Mecha gets the ball, I think he's very effective with it. When Joe Perreault gets the ball in certain areas, very effective with it. When Calvert-Lewin gets the ball, another one, very effective with it. It's all about what you provide the striker. It's all about what you provide. That's what you want to do. The striker needs to score goals. All this other stuff is great. There's so much pandering around that, though. You need to be clinical. You need to have the edge. You need to score at the end of it. Otherwise, it's pointless. Because that will keep us in the Premier League. At Everton, I had a quick look. I'll put the G&A table up here. Everton were one of the lowest scorers in the league. I'm looking here for the last 3 or 4 years, basically in the Dyche era. Now, of course, he's part of that, obviously. But look at their players. Look at all their players individually and try and find me a player every season who got double figures goals out of all their teams. They're other strikers, by the way. They've brought in loads. Well, they've brought in a few in the last few years. Try and find me players who have done more than 10 goals, any part of their team, even their creative players. Try and find me that. They're not a creative team, but they were effective in what they did. That's kind of what we need to be for the first season in the Premier League. We need to be effective in what we do, whether that's denying goals from a defensive perspective or scoring goals. We need to be effective in what we do. Calvert-Lewin, in every sense, is an effective striker. Now, again, can you control the injuries? Does he have the same mindset and mentality that he used to? Because we need that. We need a player who is seriously wanting to restart his career. I want Calvert-Lewin in a position now where he said, I want to go back into the England squad. He's 28, not that old. I need motivated players. I'm not saying he's not motivated. I'm just wondering, because this Zinny Boswell, I think whatever his name is, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he said, we both were our first choices, but now we need each other. Let's hope we need each other, and let's hope it's for good reasons, because we need that. So yeah, it's an interesting profile. What I will say, and I don't think I've said this yet, I still think we need another. I'd have said that, actually. We need another. There is so much risk in this. But if you provide him, if you use him well, he will give you so much because he's a good football player. Like I said, this is more than just a poacher. We need that. We need that element. We do. And we still lack that. We still lack that. We also need a guy who can just be a constant threat for us. When we're under the cosh, when we need to go long, when we need to go to feet, when we need someone to hold it up, when we need someone to create one little pass, a little movement, and then a run into the box, someone aerially. I've even mentioned that. I still don't think we look great on set pieces. His aerial duels are outstanding. Can we apply that to set pieces? Can we use him in that? Even from a defensive perspective, holding the ball up, flicking on with his head. It's something we're not used to. With Mateo Joseph and Joe Perot last year, they're not good aerially. It's a different dynamic. We can use that. See, a bit of me was very, before I watched. Because I fed into the injury stuff, and actually, when you watch the game, the injury stuff hasn't affected the way he plays at all. That's what the key thing is here. He still plays like he did a few years ago in Jan Jota when he was flying, scoring 15 goals a season. Where he played for England. He still plays like that. It's just that kind of rustiness in front of goal consistently that isn't there yet. But let's see. Striker's got a good Farke's got a good track record with strikers. He just has. Look at his time in Borussia Mönchengladbach. Look at his time in Dortmund. Look at his time at Norwich with Pukki. Look how much he got out of team up last season, obviously. Joe Peru. Bamford when he came in the season before for an 8-10 game period, scoring every other game. But we need one more, in my opinion, still. We need someone who doesn't have an injury record. And like I said, I don't think it's as terrible as people saying. A lot of it is bone injury and his ligament damage. There's not much you can do about that. But that hamstring thing, if you look at the record, it's quite likely to reappear. So we need someone who's not got that history, who can come in and kind of guarantee goals. Because I think Calvert-Lewin can assure you goals if you use him right and use the players around him right. Of course he can. But recently he's not provided that. Do you know what I mean? And again, this is in the Premier League. We could bring someone in from the Bundesliga who's been scoring in the Bundesliga, for example. That doesn't mean it transfers to the Premier League. But he's shown, and this is it, you never know until the player plays. This is the whole point. Of course you don't. But it's more sure that he will because he's done it for 3 or 4 years in the Bundesliga, scoring goals. You all know what I'm speaking about. So, yeah, that's my take on it. What do you guys think? I guarantee this is going to divide a lot of people, and I get it. I always liked Calvert-Lewin. I think he's a good player. It's a difference between being a clinical goal scorer and a good player. He's a good player first before a goal scorer. And under Ancelotti, they managed to unlock both of that, which made him one of the most sought-after strikers in the Premier League at one point, and he was for a few years. That went under Sean Dyche. Can he refine that under Farke? That's the question, and that's what we need to see. But yeah, and again, look, if you're looking at it from a really positive perspective, I guess you could say that it's a free. It frees up money for other positions, maybe another striker, maybe that winger, maybe number 10, the creative player who can feed him and use him, the winger who can serious balls into the box for his head, different dynamic, like I said, good mover. We'll see. But if he is the main man, I am worried by that. But if that is the case, now we have to seriously build and buy players who can provide him now. Like I said, I hope that's not the case because of the reasons I've said. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys in a bit. And look, if people are just looking from goals, I urge you somehow, I don't know how you're going to do it, just watch a game from last year. He's the same player as he used to be. Bar the consistency in terms of injuries and the goal scoring edge. He doesn't look very confident at times in front of goal. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.